Welcome to The Explainer. You know, when you look at the world's most successful people, what is it that really separates them from everyone else? It's not just about getting lucky, and it's definitely not just about having more resources. It's a specific way of thinking. So today, we're going to uncover the mental blueprints they use to build these truly extraordinary lives. Thinking outside the box, I mean, it sounds kind of cliche, right? But this is the absolute core of it. It's this willingness to challenge how things have always been done. But carving out your own path, well, that path comes with a hidden cost. Look, going against the grain is never easy. We're wired for acceptance, which usually means just fitting in. So when you have that brilliant, unconventional thought, what does it actually cost you to stand by it? Especially when everyone else is telling you you're wrong. And this brings us to what you might call the Copernicus dilemma. I mean, when Copernicus first suggested that the Earth wasn't the center of the universe, people literally thought he was crazy. He was ridiculed. But his courage to stand alone is exactly what pushes humanity forward. It's a lonely journey for sure, but an absolutely essential one. But here's the good news. You don't have to be some once-in-a-generation genius. The courage to innovate, the ability to think differently, these aren't special traits you're born with. They are skills. And just like any other skill, they can be learned, they can be practiced, and they can be mastered. So where do we even begin? Right here. It all starts with mastering your own mindset. This is the engine, the foundation that's going to power everything else you do. We're going to break this down into 3 core styles of thinking. First, we'll talk about how to see the big picture. Second, we'll dive into the surprising power of thinking realistically. And third, we'll get into how you can unlock that creativity you might not even know you have. Let's get into it. Jack Welch just nailed big picture thinking with this one. He knew that a single sale is small potatoes compared to a long-term, loyal relationship. This is all about zooming out from the day-to-day grind to see the long run. And the best way to practice this? Just ask yourself every single morning, what can I learn today that will help me tomorrow? Now this is such a critical difference. You've got hopeful thinking versus realistic thinking. A leader who's just hopeful, who has a positive attitude but no real strategy, that's just wishful thinking, and it usually ends in failure. But a realistic leader, they face the cold, hard facts, set clear goals, and build a solid plan. Being realistic isn't about being negative. It's the only real way to make things happen. And that brings us to our third foundational mindset. Creativity. Einstein said it best. Your job title, your resume, your existing knowledge, none of that defines your real value. Your ideas do. This is where you can truly set yourself apart. And here's a great way to think about being creative. Don't just settle for the first decent idea that pops into your head. That's not real creativity. It's about generating a ton of options. You gotta cast that net as wide as possible, explore everything, because the goal isn't just to find an answer, it's to find the best one. Okay, so mastering your internal mindset is step 1. But step 2 is turning that power outward so you can connect with the world. This is how you really amplify your impact, by connecting your ideas with other people. This is just an incredible story. Alfred Nobel, the guy who invented dynamite, accidentally read his own obituary after a newspaper mix-up, and it called him a merchant of death. He was completely horrified. That single moment of thinking beyond himself, of thinking unselfishly, completely changed his legacy. It led him to create the Nobel Prize, shifting his life's work from destruction to celebrating human achievement. What a turnaround. And this idea isn't just for individuals. Take the drug company Merck. They developed a cure for river blindness, a disease affecting millions in the developing world. They knew the people who needed it most could never afford it. So what did they do? They gave it away for free. It just proves that being part of something fantastic is way more rewarding than just trying to be fantastic all on your own. Connecting with the world also means you have to question what the world is telling you. Right after 9/11, the popular thinking, the thing everyone was saying was, it's dangerous to go to New York. But the author of this book saw a totally different reality. Flights were cheap, security was higher than ever, and hotels were affordable. He saw an opportunity because he chose to think for himself instead of just following the crowd. This brings us to a really important point about how new ideas come to life. We all love this myth, right? The lone genius, thinking deep thoughts in isolation. But that's almost never how it actually works. Real breakthroughs, the big ones and the small ones, are almost always the result of shared thinking, of people bouncing ideas off each other and building something together. I mean, history is just full of proof. Think about it. Marie and Pierre Curie completely changing science. John Lennon and Paul McCartney redefining music. The list goes on and on. When you combine unique talents, the result is something way bigger and better than what either person could have ever done alone. Collaboration is a superpower. Okay, so we've covered your inner mindset and how to connect with others. Now, let's tie it all together into one simple, powerful takeaway. Seriously, this is the one piece of advice you can start using today that could genuinely change your life's trajectory. Here it is. Stop just planning your day. Start planning your life. So many of us get trapped by the daily to-do list, right? We're just checking off little boxes, feeling busy, but we never look up to see where we're actually headed. Real, lasting success demands a much longer view. And here's how you actually do it. Once a month, take a step back. Look at your calendar, not just for your appointments, but for your life. Ask yourself these big questions. This forces you to proactively make time for the things that really, truly define a successful and happy life, not just a busy one. So in the end, just like Alfred Nobel, you have a choice. Every action you take, every way you decide to think. It's all writing your story, day by day. This isn't just about hitting your goals. It's about the legacy you're building. So the only question left is, what story are you going to tell?